Hello, students. Today we're kind of summarizing the big picture, if you will, the essence of statistics. What's the big idea here? So as you take a look at the overall intent of the course, the goal is to get you to understand this big picture. And we're going to break it down into pieces. The biggest thing you can understand is that we have to start with a question. We start with a question that we want to research. We want to find out something, typically about a population or a group. Now that leads us over to this population, which would be kind of this big circle with all the little dots. Now typically it's really tedious and expensive to try to get information from every single individual in a population. So what we do is we sample. And when we pull out a sample, we create a statistic or a number that kind of represents what's going on inside that sample. And so in this case, if it was what percent support the death penalty, over here we can see in our sample 65% are in favor of that. Now, the first part of the course is going to focus on exploratory data analysis, which means we just want to be able to analyze the data that we create from our samples. Once we do that, we start looking at probability. Again, that's the next phase of the course, because probability tells us kind of a chance or what a likelihood is related to this data analysis that we've created and to the statistic, which is a value from the sample. Once we have probability, we can use those tools to make an inference about the population. So in our sample, 65% are in favor. We know there were 1,082 responses. Again, that's our data. And in the end, what we try to conclude is about the entire population. So what we're looking at is, even though our sample was 65%, that may not mean that the overall population was 65% in favor. So what we need to do is we need to do a little bit of work there to say there's some variability, something else we'll talk about shortly, in the samples that we produce. And so we have to kind of understand that even though mathematics is seen as a right or wrong, in statistics we have this kind of a band of, well, we really strongly believe, or maybe even that there is convincing evidence that the true value, the population percentage, if you will, is not a single number, but more within an interval. That is a range of numbers that would describe it. And so we'll see how all of that works together. But again, the big picture of statistics kind of lets you see where we are in the course and where we're going with that information. So I'm excited about this class and hope that you are able to pick up some really good tools from this that you can use outside of a classroom. All right, off you go.